The main hip flexor that needs to be addressed is the psoas muscle. The psoas actually originates in the front of the lumbar vertebrae and continues down to the front of the femur. Prolonged tightness here can pull the back into hyperextension and the pelvis into anterior pelvic tilt, as it can also overstretch both the glutes and the abdominals, making them weaker. This collection of findings is referred to by clinicians as lower cross syndrome, and you can learn more about it on page 25. Sitting shortens hip flexors over time. You are an average of the body positions you choose in daily life. The more time the hip is in flexion, the more tone the brain sends to the hip flexor. If you're sitting regularly, you need to be stretching hip flexors regularly to have hips with normal function. A normal hip extends backwards about 10 degrees. Usually when people have locked hip flexors, the hip won't extend backwards past 0 degrees. The body compensates for this lack of hip extension by extending the lower back instead. And this compensation can cause potential injury to the low back. Trigger points in the psoas cause low back pain as well as anterior hip pain that may travel down into the front of the leg. To test the hip flexors, lay down face up for a modified Thomas test. Pull one knee all the way into your chest with both arms. You're going to be testing the hip flexor of the leg that is resting. A positive test will feature the inability to keep the resting leg on the table, with the back of the knee coming up to varying degrees. If the entire hamstring comes off the table, the hip flexors absolutely need treatment. For this protocol, you'll need a medium to heavy monster band. Attach the band firmly to an upright at about knee height or lower. While facing the rig, slip the band all the way up to just under the butt cheek. Take a giant step backwards and put the banded knee down onto the ground in a lunge position. Squeeze the butt on the banded hip side and the tummy. You want to keep them tight for the duration of the stretch. Keep the torso upright. Increase the tension by sliding the lunge forward, but keeping the belly and the butt tight the whole time. It's important that the back does not arch when trying to stretch hip extension. If the belly's not tight, the back will extend instead of the hip, which is not what we want. Only go as far as you can without releasing the core and arching the back. You can modify this stretch to bias more length into your tight quads. To do so, place the hand on the same side of the banded leg down onto the band in front of you. Again, work hard to squeeze the butt and the belly to release fascial tightness in the quads and hip flexors at the same time. Don't have a mobility band? Just get into a lunge while squeezing the tummy and glutes. Then slide your hips slightly forward and don't arch your back. Now we're going to learn the couch stretch. The couch stretch is a fantastic way to release both tight hip flexors and quads. This move is essential for those who sit often but want powerful extension with their lifts, running, or sports. Begin by finding a couch, a wall, a bench, or a 24-inch box. Make sure you have something soft to kneel on, like a yoga mat. Kneel so that your foot is rested pointing up the object you choose, with your knee pointed down in front of it. Keep in mind that the closer the knee is to the object, the deeper the stretch will be. Now that you're in position, squeeze and hold the glutes and the belly for the whole duration of the stretch. As long as both muscles are turned on, you should be able to push your hips forward without hyperextending your back. If the belly is not tight, the back will extend instead of the hips, which is not what we want. Hold 90 seconds each side. If you're unable to rise up into the upright position, using a yoga block or a foam roller to help you balance as you support your weight is a good idea. If the position is still unmanageable, go down on the knee that's in front of you. Squeeze the tummy and glutes the whole time. Other modifications include putting your knee closer to the wall, which is harder, or further away, which is easier. Also, placing the toe up the wall is a great maneuver to stretch the ankle dorsiflexors that get overused with running and squatting. Hi, Dr. Nick here from MobilityWODShop.com. I highly recommend you grab a nice mobility band from MobilityWODShop to get full mobilization of this area. So click the link that just popped up on your screen and you'll be well on your way to the mobility you've always wanted. Grab your MobilityWODShop mobility bands today. They're high quality and you won't regret it.